Hello. Well, you're looking at my book, which I like to say tells the story of the most forgotten weapons from history for the first time in history. I've studied plenty of obscure subjects in my day, but I'd never found one with less information than this, which was really odd, in retrospect, when it turns out that these things have a fascinating story to tell. They're almost completely forgotten as anything, hence part of the title there. Look at that. How many people would know that that's a weapon? Or really even this one. This one's a little bit more martial looking. This is a blackjack. The previous one was a sap, and this here is a flat sap. Beaver tail, slapper, slapjack. Goes by many names, as do really all the weapons in this family. I call it a weapons family. How about that? That's a palm sap. And here are just a few more siblings, cautious, life preservers, priests. I know that's not new information for some of you, but I'm really making this video for the other 99.99% of the human population. Because even if you're part of that much larger group, I think you'll find this story interesting. These objects were as famous as they were infamous for centuries. They were carried by American policemen for a majority of the country's history, yet they were highly favored by, and to this day, for those who know them, are highly associated with criminals from around the world. Peaky Blinders and hooligans from England, Bowery Boys, Five Pointers from New York City, the Apaches of Paris who used to hang out at the Moulin Rouge, Al Capone, literally like Al Capone himself, but also that entire generation of gangsters in Chicago and elsewhere. And there are some other really surprising twists and turns to their history. Well, it's a history I took seriously, as I hope you can tell. Speaking of that, here's my favorite advanced review. It's by a professor of American history who cares nothing for weapons or weapons history, that kind of thing. Still, he really enjoyed it, which is incredibly gratifying for me, and that is just to say, of course, that you don't have to be a weapons geek, which I absolutely am, weapons martial arts geek, to enjoy this story. Here are my citations, all 491, that on a subject that had never had so much as one book written about it ever. So you can imagine how many sources I had to research to compile that many endnotes. That was part of the challenge, but also part of the fun. I had always wanted to, so I'll say a lot about me, but I'd always wanted to capture history that would have otherwise vanished. And then I came across these, and that was certainly the case here. Their cultural, footprint is non-existent, with no real collected source of information about them, and the last generation to commonly use them, rapidly aging, they really were going to disappear. I guess I should let you see a little bit more of this, since hopefully you're considering reading it. One thing I hope you'll notice as I flip through here is that there's a lot of images. A lot of them are pictures I took myself of antique examples that I acquired. But a lot of them are these really cool, well, to me, historic images that I feel like I saved along with the overall story, because they're so scattered about and in these really obscure texts, so putting them in one place, I think, kind of preserves them. Here's just some highlights of all the images I collected in my research. Everything from 20th century pop culture to ancient engravings. In case you couldn't tell by now, I'm fascinated by old things. I always have been ever since I was a child, and really things that were evocative of another age and had like their own look and feel, a kind of look and feel that things today don't have. Well, these have that in spades, from the kind of fedora-wearing tough guy era to the streets of Victorian London and so much more. And that's it for my preview of Saps, Blackjacks, and Slungshots, a history of forgotten weapons. Thanks.